Hey, what's up, guys? So I want to talk about two rules that are new in MLB or that have been modified in Major League Baseball. And not necessarily a rule. Well, one is a rule, one is not a rule, but it's the shift and then the new baseballs that are being used this season that are a lot less lively or whatever you want to call it, and how it's affecting offenses. Now, number one, the shift. So normally you'd have, and this is how I look at it. You normally have these really good line drives, into the gap, or those line drives that just get in front of the outfielder or whatnot that outfielders can dive for and create some exciting plays. Now with the shift, they're kind of becoming routine out. So to me, the shift is, obviously it's affecting I think right-handed hitters more than left-handed hitters because of the moving over of other players to one side. Um, it's making for less exciting baseball. And again, less diving plays. There's still some diving plays, but some of these exciting hard hit balls are now becoming routine outs. But unfortunately, it's also exposing, in my opinion, the hitters' lack of, or certain hitters' lack of ability to drive the ball to both fields. And because if there is a shift, that creates an opening on the other side of the field, particularly for right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters as well when the shift is going against them. But and left-handed hitters tend to go pretty well in the opposite field. But it's creating to me it's creating less exciting baseball. Not to say there's not exciting. A lot of exciting baseball, and there's a lot of young dynamic players, and still a lot of great stuff going on. But this particular one is kind of, I think, taken away from the kind of the flair of some of the plays and exciting athletic feats that some of these players show. And it kind of stinks, but I get the team's logic and so on because it's creating a little bit more of a defensive weapon for them. But it's at the same time, it's exposing other areas, and particularly, like I said, the lack of ability for certain players to hit both sides of the fields when necessary. I see a lot of left-handed hitters can drag a bunts to third base than a lot of better than right-handed hitters can drag them to first base. Even though we don't see a ton of bunting, but this is where a shift can be kind of used. You can play against the shift really well, but at the same token, it's creating to me it's creating less exciting moments in baseball. A lot of us fans, we like exciting plays, we like dynamic plays, we like just flair, and even though it's not the most important thing in baseball, it matters. So the shift to me, while I understand that, it's taken away from some of the fun of the game. But on a second note, the less lively baseballs, and I'm just going to give some stats here because I found them. In 2019, the bottom three of the lineups were slugging .397 on average collectively, which is the third highest of all time. But unfortunately, they were batting .238, which is the 99th of all time. And so I think Major League Baseball wanted to kind of address that number one thing, and also limit the amount of opposite field home runs hit by some of these players, which is crazy. I read about that too. But the less lively baseballs is definitely affecting offenses as a whole or all around baseball. You see pitching is up and hitting is down collectively, with the exception of some players. Obviously, there are some players hitting well, but all in all, offense is down in Major League Baseball. Even though they used the 2020 baseballs in spring training, they went to the new balls during the 2021 season. So if you're wondering why offense is down, this is one of the main reasons why. The shift is another reason why. And pitchers are just becoming better too, and that's another reason. So it's shifting the kind of balance in baseball, and I think things at some point they might have to address the less active baseball issue, but that remains to be seen. We'll see if they do that. The shifts, unfortunately, I think the shifts are probably going to be here to stay. I think hitters have to be a little bit more adept at hitting the opposite field, hitting against the shift, and making it known that the shift isn't going to work with me. Like, that's just my opinion with regards to that. And with the lively baseballs, I think it's going to be this way for a little while until batters are becoming more adept at hitting the balls into gaps and not relying on home runs as much as before. Home runs are sexy, but I think there's a greater appetite for more small ball, more doubles into the gaps and stuff, and more manufacturing runs without the reliance of a home run. But again, home runs are fun to watch. So, and who doesn't like the home run? So, those are the two rules that I think have had the most significant effect on baseball recently. And let me know what you think. If you can think of any others, put them in the comments. And let me know what you think of these two rules, whether you agree with me or disagree, and how you think it affects the game. Because I do think it affects particularly the offense. I mean, and as much as I love seeing the Gerrit Coles of the world and Jacob deGroms go out and throw dominant games, and they will still do that even with the livelier baseballs, and they have. It's obviously helping pitchers catch up to the offense during the season, and it's affecting the amount of hard hit balls, the amount of home runs that are hit, and so on. And I get the logic, but what's the ultimate goal here? What's the end game here? Is it just to create a more diverse game, a more well-rounded game, less home runs, more batting average, more on-base percentage? And this is where analytics and I think sabermetrics have kind of taken over baseball, and probably are one of the main reasons these types of things are happening now. So these types of rule changes and ball changes and stuff. So I'm just wondering what the end game is here. What's the goal for the short term and the long term? Let me know what you think, folks. Thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.